appreciate all the time. I won't keep you much longer, but one last question I have to ask you. When you look at this box set and the four records that are in it, there are still a few records in the Sabbath catalog that have not been addressed. And one is actually the Seventh Star record, because I love that record, and I love Glenn, of course, and he's a friend. And I just was with Glenn, and he was telling me that after he's done with this Purple stuff, he wants to go out and play everything from his catalog. And I kept on him because I told him he needs to do No Stranger to Love from that record, because that's one of my favorites, and that was a single at the time. But is there any plans to do anything special with that record?
Not at the moment, not that I know of. I mean, but again, we have got to come to the other stuff as well, my solo stuff and whatever else. So I'm sure there'll be somewhere along the line. And the same as Born Again as well.
Well, that's where I was going. That's the big one. That's what, when I've talked to people and told them I'm talking to you, this has come up a lot of times. There are Born Again, the one record with Ian Gillan, has taken on all new stature in the 40-something years since it's come out. It has become a record that's very, very loved by a lot of people. And I know you said that that's a record you'd like to get the tapes and address and maybe even remix, right?
Yeah, well, eventually, Eddie, we got the tapes. We couldn't find them for years. We didn't know where they were. And Ralph located somebody, and they were in a record in their archives, tucked away somewhere in one of the record companies. I don't know how they got them, but they did. And so eventually we got them, and then we've had them, or having them transferred, because obviously it's tape. And so we're having them transferred so we can have a look at that. And that's sort of a plan as well. I'd like to do that. And I know Ian would like that to happen as well. Well, Geezer would as well, I'm sure.
Yeah, is that something that you've picked up on over the years since that record came out? It was somewhat mixed reviews, you could say, when it was initially released, but over the decades, that record is, Zero the Hero, Trash. The stuff on that record, Disturbing the Priest, has really taken on a new appreciation from a lot of fans. Have you picked up on that as well?
Yeah, it's funny, Eddie, how that does happen. And it's the same as the Tony Martin stuff as well. People didn't know of it at the time, and then it's word of mouth that gets around, and the internet, and and they get interested, and eventually, it's good. And that's what's happened with Born Again. It's sort of, it's funny how that works. It's later on, a new generation come in, and then people get to hear the original fans will hear it and go, oh, yeah, I forgot about that record. It is funny how it all works, but it's great. It's great that it does, and that's why I'd like to present that. Again, have a look at that and see what we can do with it, because I know, we weren't very happy with the sound. But a lot of people accepted the sound, really. Certainly now. At the time, it was, oh, my God. Because we went on tour, left it to somebody else, and when we heard it, we nearly had a fit. I mean, it was in the top. I think it was number 4 in England at the time, and we tried to stop it, but it was too late. By the time we'd heard it, it was, and it just sounded really muffly. It was nothing like when we left before we went on tour. So it would be nice to get it so we can get a better sound on it, really.
Yeah, but you're right. The sound of that record has definitely, people have almost said it's a precursor to grunge and things like that. I mean, there's like a whole movement about that record. So I think if you do reissue it, the way to do it would maybe be the original mix remastered maybe, and then as an alternate present a different mix on it, because I'd love to hear it remixed as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, well, that would be a remix of it, really. But yes, absolutely. Because
and then, of course, there's the cover.
There really are the cover. Yeah, there really are some great songs on that album.
Yeah,
really are. Yeah.
Yeah. No doubt.
And of course the cover was very different in them days.
Yeah, it's just great. I remember Ian Gillan. I once had dinner with Ian, and he said to me, he told me a funny story about joining Sabbath. he said to me he went out and had some drinks with you guys, and they got all drunk. And he said the next thing you know, he said he woke up the next day and his manager called him up and he said, before you decide to join Black Sabbath, you should maybe talk to me first. He said, "What? I did what?"
Oh yeah, I mean, Eddie, we met up in this pub at lunchtime, and we were there all day and all night. They closed the pub for a while, and then reopened it again, and we're still there, So we were there till the death. And God, Geezer and myself, we don't even remember getting home, and Ian didn't remember anything either. So the three of us were not in a good state the next day. But yeah, we got a band.
Well, Tone, I don't want to keep you much longer. I know it's late there in England, and I really do always appreciate you taking time to chat with me. And we remind everybody to check out this box set, bringing together the albums Cross Purposes, Forbidden, Headless Cross, Tear. All the records are remastered. Forbidden is now remixed by Tony in a brand new box set, Anno Domini, and it is collecting 89 through 95 as the years. And I think it's great, and I always love these opportunities, whether it's the remix of Live Evil or the Ronnie stuff or the Ozzy stuff or whatever period we're talking about. It's always great to put a fresh coat of paint and revisit these periods, because there's a lot of great periods of Sabbath, and I enjoyed them all, and I'm glad that you are digging in on these and presenting them with a new coat of paint on them.
Yeah, thanks, Eddie. And of course, things like this will never be repeated. Cozy's gone, and Jeff Nichols, and the same as the Ronnie stuff. Ronnie's gone, will never be repeated. So it is nice to have a decent sounding box set, really.
Yeah, for sure.